I'm having issues with my contract with Bob to pay the rent. I don't have enough money to go to court or the time, and I think this issue is small enough to handle with Bob because I don't want him hating me. What should I do?
Well, in my business law, I learned about alternative dispute resolution, which is other ways to resolve contract disputes without going to court. The issue sounds small enough to resolve without going to court and without having a third party, so I believe negotiation is the best option for you.
What is negotiation?
Negotiation is an informal discussion of the parties, sometimes without attorneys, where differences are given with the goal of coming to a meeting of the minds in resolving the case. It is the least informal mechanism. It requires advanced preparation. It's the least expensive, and it's very common.
Oh wow, I'm gonna try negotiation with Bob next week.
1 week later.
You told me I could pay the rent every 2 months instead of every month.
Yes, but that was just to give you more time to gather the money for both months rather than to worry about it every month. That didn't mean that you get to skip a payment for the month.
How about if you let me pay the rent every other month, then in return I will help you maintain the house and buy the groceries for every month that I don't pay the rent.
That sounds fair to me.
Okay, great.
I'm glad we could resolve this between us.
Me too.
The negotiation went great. We came to a meeting of the minds and we didn't have to spend any money doing it.
That's great. ADR has worked wonders with most of my friends in resolving their contract arguments.
Most? Why didn't it work for some of your friends?
Because ADR is not binding, therefore, if the person you are resolving the dispute with does not cooperate with you, you might have to take them to court regardless.
That's true. Now that I think about it, my friend Linda got in a car accident last month, and I think she mentioned she resolved the issue with mediation.
Oh, what happened?
I can't believe you hit my car.
I'm so sorry. You were in my blind spot.
I'm gonna call the cops.
No. This is going to raise both of our insurances, and I'm a broke college student, so I can't afford that.
Well, you hit my car, and as broke as you are, someone needs to cover my damages. I'm calling the cops.
Wait, hold on. Let's resolve this through mediation.
Huh?
Let's go to the mechanic, then we can pay a mediator so he can inform us of the damages and how I can pay this.
Okay, let's go to my mechanic.
I've talked to the mechanic, and Linda, you owe $600 worth of damage, including the shipment of parts, labor, and taxes. It will take a week to have your car fixed. You can pay in cash or in credit card.
I don't have the money right now.
You're going to have to find a way somehow.
Another way the car could get repaired is by Linda paying now and letting Mike pay her back $120 a month for 5 months. This way the insurance is not involved, so nothing would change.
I would not like my insurance to go up, so I'd rather do it in cash now.
Great, Mike, are you okay with that?
Yes, $120 a month is doable.
The mediation went great because they came to a common ground and they didn't have to spend too much money. Their insurance would have killed them.
That's great. That definitely sounds like mediation.
Mediation involves a third party known as a mediator. The mediator talks face to face with the parties to determine common ground. Mediator identifies important issues, clarifies misunderstandings, explores solutions, and negotiates a settlement. Decision-making by parties must be voluntary. Advantages of mediation are that there are few rules, customized process, and parties control the results, so it's a win-win.
3 weeks later.
Hey Allison, you look sad. What happened?
I really wanted to build up my credit score, and I got a credit card with Bank of America. But I didn't realize that by agreeing to get a credit card, I was agreeing to give up my right to sue them and bring them to court, and now I'm having a problem.
What's wrong?
I didn't know I had to pay a fee every month even though I wasn't using my card. And now I'm in more debt than I was expecting to, and I don't know what to do.
Oh, this sounds like you're gonna have to go through arbitration.
What's arbitration?
I'm glad you asked.
Arbitration is settling a dispute by a neutral third party known as an arbitrator who renders a legally binding decision, usually an expert. Case begins with submission to an arbitrator. A hearing is held where parties present evidence and arguments. Finally, the arbitrator renders an award. It is a lot like a hearing, and it is the most formal form of ADR. It is not always legally binding. Some cases that are court-ordered arbitration, a court cannot take your right to trial away from you. It can only ask you to go through another process to get to the trial itself. However, when parties agree to go to arbitration, that result can be considered legally binding. Rules of evidence are relaxed. How do parties agree? Typically appear in a contract. It looks like a hearing, but instead of moving towards a close common ground, the arbitrator listens to both sides and renders their decision. That decision is called an award. Results may be unpredictable. Arbitrators do not have to follow precedent or rules of procedure or evidence. Arbitrators do not have to issue written opinions. It does not need to be justified. They have the right to hire an attorney, but not required. Arbitrators try to give each party a little bit of what they want, whereas in court, the person who is in the right would be rewarded the remedy that they asked for. Since we want them to be shorter, they're often not situations where we have lengthy processes. Parties are able to talk more freely and present more information, but arbitrators will ultimately make the decision. Arbitration is always voluntary. Generally, no discovery is available. Courts are not involved in arbitration unless an arbitration clause in a contract needs enforcement. Binding can be enforced in court order. Non-binding always has the right to go to court and litigate your case. Appeal is court-ordered, requires you to go to arbitration but not require you to accept it. It is between discovery and pretrial. No appeal is contractual binding arbitration, the contract you agree to. Arbitration is final, no route to appeal unless you prove it is not binding/absurd or that you did not agree to it.
That's awesome. I didn't realize that I wasn't allowed to go to court, but I will try arbitration and get back to you on the results.
What are you having issues with?
When I signed up for the credit card, I didn't know about all the hidden fees it came with.
Did you state your requirements clear for your client?
We did not read them out to her, but it's her fault for signing the contract and not reading the fine print.
What are you hoping to get out of this meeting?
I wanted to have the fees waived or at least get a payment plan that will help me catch up to the minimal payment.
What do you think?
I cannot waive the fees, but she can sign up to do a payment plan, but that would include an extra fee.
Now that I've heard both sides, I've come to the decision to resolve this dispute. Allison will need to start a payment plan to pay off the fee charges, but at an extra cost.
Okay, I wish I didn't need to pay all those fees, but oh well.
This decision is binding because you agreed to arbitration when you signed up for your credit card.
Glad we resolved this dispute.
Me too. I'm so glad there are other ways to resolve disputes other than going to trial. ADRs are much more beneficial than litigation because they are less expensive, time-saving, and confidential, as well as both parties get a chance to be heard.
I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't learned about these in business law.